One of the writers for Star Wars The Acolyte Episode 4 went on a spree of explanations on why she made some of the dumb decisions that she made in the show. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. I wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com. And indeed, the Acolyte writer Claire Kiechel, I don't know how that's you say her name, but she answered a bevy of questions regarding why May decided to all of a sudden just abandon her quest for revenge in the middle of a forest, why the show included pronouns, why Ki-Adi-Mundi was included in the show, and why the Wookiee Jedi was killed off screen. So let's get into this here. First off, we get an explanation as to why the Wookiee was killed off screen. I think she's actually deleted this post since I took the screen grab. But this is what Desert Daddy asked, or R. Scott Dalton asked, and we never got a chance to see the Wookiee Jedi fight. Shame on you, Claire responded. Unfortunately, not everything gets to be included for budget and story reasons. We had an early draft that showed his fight and death scene, but it ultimately broke the point of view of the episode in a way that I think wouldn't have worked as well. Budgetary reasons, and it broke the point of view of the episode. So, according to the New York Times, which interviewed Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland in the same piece where they revealed how much the show's budget was, the outlet revealed it had a budget of $180 million. But apparently they can't show a Wookiee fighting this Sith in the forest. Too expensive. Budget. Can't include it because of the budget. And it broke the point of view of the episode. I don't know what the point of view of the episode was. There were multiple points of view throughout the entire thing. If you watched it, you had Sol, you had Osha, you had May. They even have the Wookiees' point of view in the beginning of the episode. So I don't know how it would have broken the point of view of the episode. Doesn't really make any sense to me. I think she thinks we're stupid. That's what I think. And I think some of her other answers will explain that or show that even more. And I would be remiss if the show does indeed have a $180 million budget. Where is it? Because from what I've seen so far, doesn't look like they've spent $180 million on this. The writing is atrocious. The set designs are bland. The music is mediocre. The acting, for the most part, is subpar. So I don't know where they spent all their money. Maybe they spent it on catering. We do know that Katie Sackhoff said that the catering budget on The Mandalorian was greater than the entire show's budget for Battlestar Galactica. So maybe that's where they're spending all their money, on things that are actually unrelated to the show's production and creation. And we do know that the Walt Disney Company has their whole Reimagine Tomorrow program. They want to give money to quote unquote minority owned businesses. So maybe that's what they were doing. Maybe that's where all the money went. But then we got this question here too. I hope I don't sound rude, but if I may ask, are they mandating y'all to keep the episodes short? Wish they were longer like other streamers. And she said this: we wrote this one and next week's together, and they've kind of had a total ballpark limit for the both. For reasons, next week's had to be the longer one. So this one had to be kept short. I think it's the shortest of the 8. Don't quote me though. So clearly Lucasfilm, the Walt Disney Company, are seemingly creating limits on the length of the show episodes, which is just absolutely bizarre. You would think that these companies would get back to just creating shows that fit within the typical 1 hour time limit with commercials So you get about a 45-minute episode, especially given the fact that that is where we're seeing streaming going. It's literally going back to commercials, having commercials injected into the shows. So I don't know why you wouldn't just keep doing that. Clearly, Disney's not doing that for whatever reason. Next, we got a question on why May decided to just have a complete change of heart regarding her quest to kill the Jedi. If you've been watching the show, you know she's been hunting down Jedi. She's been tasked with killing the Jedi without a weapon. She wants to kill the 4 Jedi who she blames for killing her witch coven. And all of a sudden, in the middle of this episode, she tells her partner, Chimere, I don't know how to say his name. She says, after running through that forest for an extremely long time, I realized something. I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to kill a Jedi without a weapon. I don't need to keep this deal. You were wrong. Osha being alive changes everything. My loyalty is to Osha, not your master. She then informs him, what I'm going to do is surrender myself to Kalnaka, which is the Wookiee Jedi, and then turn myself into the Jedi. After Chimere tells her that the Jedi will put her in prison, she retorts, not after I tell them who I know. So none of this really made sense. We already had seen Soul try and brain suck from her and revealed that she doesn't know who her master actually is or any kind of information. So that line of dialogue made absolutely no sense. It's a contradiction to what we've already seen. Her just all of a sudden just up in I don't want revenge anymore because she sees Osha alive. Doesn't really make any sense either. There's nothing building up to it. You don't have any kind of even internal dialogue or monologue or internal struggles. There's nothing that leads up to this. She's literally gone to the planet to kill the Wookiee, and she treks through the entire forest and wants to kill him. And then all of a sudden, I don't feel like doing it anymore. Well, this is how Claire explained this. She's not good in that moment. She's just super tired of this pointless, what she considers pointless, missions and errands her master is making her do. And I think the revenge that really fueled her just isn't quite the same once she knows Osha is alive. Which doesn't make any sense because in the 3rd episode, she's the one who allegedly burns down the entire witch coven because Osha is going to go join the Jedi. And she's like, you're not going. I'm going to kill you instead. So I don't know why she would care that her sister is all of a sudden alive after she was the one who tried to kill her. And then she hates the Jedi because they wanted to take her away in the first place. And that resulted in her making the choice to kill the Jedi. It makes absolutely no sense. The explanation doesn't make any sense. Like I said, Claire Kiechel thinks you're stupid. She thinks we're stupid when it's her writing that's stupid and garbage. As for the pronouns, this is what happens in the show. Let's take a listen.
What's that? Esposo. Is he or they with us? What's that?
So there you go. They push this pronouns crap. Before Jackie gives an answer, Yord interrupts her and asks, any questions, civilian? So why was this scene included? A number of people asked Claire this. And she says, it's obviously a joke about pronouns because she's referring to a strange little animal creature. Not sure the upset on this one. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. No, she knows exactly why people are upset about this. She knows exactly what she's doing. She knows why people are upset. She knows she's pushing transgender ideology. She knows she's doing this in Star Wars. It was not a joke. It wasn't funny. It was cringe. No one was laughing at it. It was terrible. And there was no intention of it ever being a joke. It was clearly there just to push transgender ideology and the whole pronoun nonsense that we see on X, because we saw people like Claire and her boss, Leslie Headland, literally try to cancel Gina Carano over refusing to put pronouns in her bio on Twitter. So no, this isn't a joke. This is what they always try and do. Oh, I was just joking. No, you weren't. You were being totally serious. You try and say, oh, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. You just don't have any humor. You just don't understand it. No, we understand it perfectly well. We're not as stupid as you think we are. The joke's actually on you because you're a liar. Here's another explanation to another user. It was a joke about the pronouns of a large fictional beaver creature. No politics involved. An absolute 100% lie. The politics were 100% involved. Not only are politics involved, it's morality that is involved too, because she's clearly pushing the lie of transgender ideology. Lying is immoral. Transgender ideology is immoral. Because men cannot become women and women cannot become men. Another response, she decided to just kind of eschew her entire facade of it being a joke. She decided to just start mocking people. And she was like, you is a pronoun. And then she also embraced this idea that she was destroying Star Wars. She says, that's me, a ruiner of worlds. So these people are embracing this stuff. They take pride in it. They know exactly what they're doing. And they're bragging about it. That is the malice. That is the spite that runs through Lucasfilm now. These people hate you. They think you're stupid and they hate you. The show would also feature a cameo of Jedi Master Ki-Adi Mundi, who had not been born at the time the Acolyte takes place. He's born in like 93 BBY, before the Battle of Yavin. And Kiechel was asked why Adi Mundi was in the show, but completely avoided the question and instead addressed a question regarding his knowledge of May, Adi Mundi's knowledge of May, because he's the one who comments in one of the prequel movies. I'm blanking on which one now. Might have been Phantom Menace, probably Phantom Menace. And he's like, we haven't heard of a Sith in 1,000 years or in a millennia or whatever he says. Anyways, she's asked about this. This is what she says. He doesn't know anything about the Sith. Why would he? And we offered the part to Yoda, but he wasn't technically available. I don't know. Maybe they couldn't get a puppet of Yoda or something. Who knows? They literally have him in all their High Republic stuff. So who knows why they couldn't get Yoda to do that? Because like the reason why they can't get Yoda is because there's literally dialogue saying we have to cover this up because we can't tell the council because the council will tell the Republic and there'll be a big scandal and it'll harm the Jedi Order. Some such nonsense like that. It's just utterly ridiculous. But she goes on and says, so a young Ki-Adi Mundi stepped in for the part. I mean, there's clear databanks. There's a Topps card. There's a episode 1 Phantom Menace insider that you got on like 2 CD-ROMs back in the 90s that clearly say that Ki-Adi Mundi was born in 92 or 93, Battle Before Yavin, because he was 60 years old at the time, like at the time of like the Phantom Menace. So he was not alive when this show takes place, which is 100 years before the Phantom Menace. He couldn't have been born if he was only 60 at 33 Battle Before Yavin, and this show is taking place like 123, 133, or whatever it is. He's not alive. But she doesn't answer any of those. She doesn't answer that question. Because she can't, because it's a massive mistake. And I just wanted to include this just as a reminder, because I thought this was funny. Because these people don't understand Star Wars. They don't understand the Force. They're calling it the thread now. They have no clue about any of this stuff. Their explanations are bogus. They're just literally lying to you, thinking you're going to like gulp it down and accept it. We're not, because we're not as stupid as what they think. But George Lucas made it very clear right before this show aired that people like Claire Kiechel do not understand Star Wars at all. Because this is what he said during an appearance at the Cannes Film Festival. Again, just ahead of this show's premiere. He says, I was the one who really knew what Star Wars was, who actually knew this world, because there's a lot to it. The Force, for example, nobody understood the Force. When they started other ones after I sold the company, a lot of the ideas that were in the original sort of got lost. But that's the way it is. You give it up. You give it up. So he's literally telling us that these people do not understand Star Wars. They do not understand the Force. And a lot of the ideas that were in the originals have gotten lost in what Disney is doing to this franchise. George Lucas is telling us not to trust these people. And he's right. We shouldn't trust these people because all they're doing is defacing this. But the joke is really on them. I mean, we're literally just laughing at this. They're the ones creating this. They're the ones losing money. They're the ones ruining their reputations. They're the ones hurting their future career prospects. We're here laughing at them, laughing at their stupidity, pointing out how dumb and inane and garbage this is. And we're actually making money because they're spending $180 million and they can't even get a Wookiee to fight a Sith because it's too expensive for whatever reason. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, but to always speak the truth.